everybody, it's John, your Indian Cine-MANIAC, back with another 10ish minute review on John Talks Indian Cinema. Thank you, all you 926 subscribers as of this recording. Hopefully, by the time this posts, I'm at that 1,000. That's please, please, please. Thanks for all your support, by the way. Okay, this film I am going to watch. I did a trailer reaction on L2 Empuraan. Is that how you pronounce that? Wait, I'm going to screw that up, aren't I? Let me see exactly what the title is. L2, L2E. Wait a minute. L2E. Empuraan. L2 Empuraan. So I did a trailer reaction and I got a lot of hits on that. And then I got a lot of requests to watch, before I watch the sequel, watch Lucifer that came out in 2019. Now, I'm not going to put their names down because there's four of them, but I want to give them their props. Joe-FZ2HZ at AJILJITH 2778. Agil Jith 2778. Crinsno, Crizno, and Jish Nujith 7047. All four of you said before I watch L2E, I should watch Lucifer. So that's what I did. So this film was directed by Prithviraj Sukumaran, who I've seen in The Goat Life, who I really like, who also directed the sequel. This film was his directorial debut. He's also in it. It stars Mohanlal. Mohanlal? I don't think I'm saying that right. Why do I seem to remember seeing that Lucifer? Let me make sure I'm saying that name right, because I did misspell it on my notes. Mohanlal. Mohanlal, who I've seen in Jailer and Drishyam. I really liked him in Drishyam. I love the Ajay Devgan version, but I actually thought he was a more realistic father in Drishyam. Vivek Oberoi, Manju Warrier, who was in Vettaiyan, Tovino Thomas, and Prithviraj Sukumaran, Goat Life, Jana Gana Mana. This was a Mollywood film, Malayalam. Now, I have to tell you, I've been doing these for a while, and I didn't realize. I heard of Tollywood, and obviously I've heard of Bollywood, but I did not know Malayalam films were referred to as Mollywood. So I think that's the first time I'm going to use that. And I've always found that Malayalam films are much more grounded than obviously Bollywood films, but more than almost any other ones that I've seen. And they don't do a lot of really crazy, over the top musical numbers either. So, okay, so let's get into the story. The story is about, and the story is kind of hard to explain because things just happen. But there's a whole opening about the drug mafia. And then it opens up with a riot at a hospital because a leader dies, PKR. And now it leaves a power vacuum. And who's going to take over? And they actually introduced the different people who could take over for this beloved, although they imply crooked. And I haven't quite figured that out if he was or not, even though a lot of crooked things go on. And then so they introduced the five by introducing a blogger who who is doing an internet thing where he starts going over everybody who could now take this person's place. And the last guy they bring up is Lucifer, or Stephen. He's really only referred to Lucifer a couple of times. He's really mostly referred to as Stephen Nedumpally. Nedumpally. But in fact, so Lucifer, when I heard the title Lucifer, I thought, okay, this is going to be good versus evil, God versus the devil. And his introduction is in a church. And the church and the symbol of the cross is throughout this movie. And he's in the church all in white, which is not what you'd expect from Lucifer, right? So then you realize Lucifer, although not a good guy, is on the right side of things. And that becomes evident pretty quickly. Um, so they do this funeral and everybody shows up and Lucifer Stephen makes this big entrance. Everybody knows who he is. He's very messianic in this film too. The way they shoot him, the way when he walks in slow motion. Everyone kind of parts to the side. Um, and he runs a shelter for young women who get pregnant and have nowhere to go. And as the movie progresses, you start to realize everybody's corrupt. And he even has this dialogue about um, that PRK was God and angels came in, but they weren't really angels. And when he died, now they will be exposed for what they are. Now, he loved this guy like a father. And that's another thing about this film. They imply that he could be the father, but unless I totally miss something, they never really answer that question, who his father is. Because he takes him in, and that causes a rift with the mother. It causes a rift with his sister. That plays a prominent role in this. And then the rest of the story is he's trying to prevent a very corrupt guy, Bobby, who I really like because he was just so awful. Who's going to be the puppet master of PRK's son. He thinks he's going to control his son. Of course, that ends up not happening. But then they try to frame Steven because everyone wants Steven to be in charge, and they end up framing him for something. And he doesn't fight back. He goes to jail, and then he gets cleared, and now he's on a revenge tour. And that's almost the last third of the movie, which is, I thought, the best part of the movie. Um, but um, they do this one when they first show the shelter. They do this one, and this is why um, sometimes you can tell when it's a first-time director because they overdo certain things. And I will say that he used a couple of devices. He uses a lot of overhead shots, but I don't think I liked them. And then he did this one thing that I found really interesting. When they first go into the shelter, there's an old woman going from room to room, and it's done in a single take. It's a long shot, and I thought that was really well done. So I thought the way he framed shots, the angles that he did, the director, I thought he did a really nice job. Um, Again, the story that the issue I had with this, I'm going to give the story a two because I really don't think there was much of a story. Like they refer to the Illuminati, and you don't. They also refer to Stephen with a past because when he fights for the first time, and the action scenes are really great. Now, I will tell you that there's an overuse of slow motion. And the only reason why I bring it up is I've seen a couple, like I just watched a Sunny Deal film where they used very little slow motion and everything was fast, all the fight scenes. And that's because, at the time, I think it was 2001, they filmed that one that I watched. You could tell that he could do this stuff. Now this guy is a big guy, and I think that's probably why they slowed it down a little bit. But of course, he's going against 15 guys, and that I still the fight scenes were great. The choreography was really well done, and he was pretty badass. It was overwhelming odds, and no one lays a finger on him for the most part. But he's just got this like serious presence. But he's not, even though he beats up 15 guys. It doesn't come across as like some of these younger guys. It's almost like superhero-ish the way they fight. It wasn't like that in this. That's what I mean about Malayalam. It was much more grounded stuff. but there wasn't enough background of, and maybe they did it purposely because they knew they were going to do a sequel. But he gets his revenge, and it's well done. But like even at the end, so he does everything he needs to do. He kind of saves the day, and then he ends up after the credits in Russia. Now he looks like a completely different guy. Sunglasses, he looks like a gangster, is what he looks like. So I didn't know. I still don't know who he is, what's his background. He's got like this ninja team working for him that the director played one of the, and those fight scenes were great too. Like they were ninjas. Prithviraj was one of his like, not bodyguards, but like assassination team is what they really ended up being. Um, but so the story was okay. It was pretty thin. Okay. Now that doesn't, it's not like that's a criticism of the film because I've been saying this recently, but it was a lot of good scenes strung together by a very loose thread, I guess is it. I mean, the whole thing is putting someone in charge of politics with not much backstory. Yeah, yeah, they give you a little bit. The sister hates Stephen, but ends up needing him. Bobby is, there's a whole subplot of him messing around with their 16 or 17-year-old daughter and getting her hooked on drugs, which was very creepy in this film. Um, there's a corrupt news organization. I mean, everybody's corrupt in this. Even the blogger, they kidnapped the blogger, they put him in a mental institution, but the room is almost the identical room in his house. So they wanted him to be comfortable. They didn't want to kill him. And he ends up having it, his wife and kid left him at the end of the movie. They come back. Now, as far as the performances go, I love the performances. He's not in this film. There was not like Drishyam. Um, there's not a lot of, how do I want to say this? He's pretty one note the whole film. A noble, intent, and when he needs to, pretty deadly. But I really think a lot of the other people in the cast were really elevated this thing. Like the guy who played Bobby, I've never seen him in anything. Vivek Oberoi. He was really just awful. Like you wanted him to die, and when he does die, you're like, okay, I'm all in on this guy. Um, so his sister, the stepsister, guess it would be, that hated him. I mean, like that scene where there's a great scene where the daughter told the mother what Bobby was doing to her. So now she confronts him. And he's all like, "Oh no, no, it's because it's the drugs. The drugs are making her crazy." And then she says something to him. Wait, I think I wrote it down because I really liked this line. Oh yeah, oh yeah. She goes, "You dare to touch my child." Now all of a sudden, his whole demeanor changes. He goes, "I will. I can." Now she's like, she realizes who this guy really is. It was really well done. Real scary too. So I'm going to give the performances because I think overall, I think everyone was really good in this. I'm going to give them a 4. The music, again, Malayalam films, music isn't as big a driver as in other films, but the first song, there's in a jail cell and it's a black and white flashback. Another song, okay, so this is one. And in this one, I didn't quite understand because, again, Malayalam films don't normally do this, but there's some pretty intense stuff going on. All of a sudden, they cut to a club, and there's 11 belly dancers with this big musical number, and it intercuts between the scenes of violence and then back to the club, and it ends up the big reveal when Steven sits down, and it's like a half an hour before he sits down in the club, but they frame it in a way where he's got this light behind him that puts this a circle of light around him. And then on the other side is Bobby. They finally get Bobby sitting there and he's doing this thing with this big gun and he's putting bullets in, quoting the Bible. And then Bobby gets his just rewards. but it was a real out of place musical number. I didn't understand it. Like, why is it even there? And that, but now I will say that I thought the incidental music was really good. So I'm going to give the music a three. Again, you know how I feel about that. It didn't hurt the movie. I don't think it helped the movie. So overall, my overall verdict of this film, um, I guess, yeah. I mean, I have to give it a three. I have to give it a three because although I did like it, and I did, I still thought the plot was thin. And I can't even imagine what they're going to do with the sequel because the real bad guy's dead. Now they do set up that thing at the end with Russia, which I didn't quite understand either, but maybe that's going to lead into the sequel. But yeah, I mean, it was. I'm glad I watched it, so maybe I won't be in the dark. Although I don't, they didn't explain anything about Steven or who he is. But I liked it, and he's good. I haven't seen him in a lot of stuff, but the stuff I've seen him in, I have liked his performance. He seems like you know, not over the top. You know, none of that over the top stuff. Just a very intense, very intense guy. So that's what I think. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Are you looking forward to the sequel? Do you think it's going to be a smash hit? And again, let me know what you think in the comment section, okay? All right, so that's it. So thank you for watching. We'll see you next time when John talks Indian cinema with either a trailer reaction or oh, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like. Have I already done that? I don't think I have, but hey, do it. Just subscribe, just for the sake of me. Just subscribe, would you please? Okay, what else? Let's see. I need a secret word to make sure you guys are paying attention. Let's see. I got all kinds of stuff here. Okay, let's go. Superman. Superman. That's the secret word this week. All right. So if you stick around to the end, put it in the comment section. I know Cully's saying he's going to do it. He always does it, and I appreciate it. He wants to support the channel. I just want to make sure you stay until the end. All right. That's it. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.